Alrighty everyone, welcome back. We are now getting closer to the very end of March of 2023, which only means that we are going through the last half of The Mandalorian Season 3, as Disney and Lucasfilm are still in post-production for the Ahsoka series. Everything is moving along very smooth. They're trying to get this thing out by the fall of this year, maybe even slightly earlier than that. But there's a lot of things coming out of this, because we know that everything related to John and Dave is that it's all about really kind of bringing back Star Wars Legends in the best way possible, and really just telling great and entertaining stories for the fans. That's really going to come full circle. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new, and like this video to see future Star Wars updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support. Now, given that there has been a lot of things going on between Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, and even, of course, some of the Disney board members, a lot of things have been evolving from Disney, of course, making specific choices and decisions on the roadmap of the franchise and exactly where that's all going. However, that leads us to both John and Dave and what they recently had to say about Gina Carano and the character of Cara Dune returning to the Mandoverse and any Star Wars project. Now, we know that the whole Gina Carano and Cara Dune scenario has been a very controversial one for the past year and a half plus, right? It's been a very rough road. A lot of fans have been divided over the whole entire situation, and it really hasn't gone anywhere. The division has been settled in for over a year and a half now, and when you look at stuff like that, everything, of course, related to John and Dave is about reuniting the fans. That's their overall main goal. They want to find any kind of division and patch it and fix it and make sure that it just kind of just blows over and everything goes along smoothly. However, with that being put out there, given that Disney and Lucasfilm are now preparing to make big changes to the Star Wars franchise, both Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are getting ready to make some important announcements very soon. Now, in a recent interview that both John and Dave got involved in, they were able to reveal some surprising details to the fandom involving actress Gina Carano. Now, Favreau first went on to state the following to the fans. When we were working on Season 2, we actually had shot lots of other footage for Gina and her character Cara Dune that went completely unused, that myself and Dave recently looked over, and we were like, how could we find a way to use that? And we found the perfect way to use that deleted footage that we had shot for Cara and with Gina. We were thinking to ourselves, wouldn't it be great to show that to the fans? And so we recently got together with some of those over at Disney, and let me just say that we do have a very exciting plan, or plans, on how we are about to reinstate her scenes that myself and Kathleen Kennedy had creative differences over. Let me pause here. So, given that Kathleen Kennedy once again had creative differences with Jon Favreau for Mando Season 2, not a big surprise. Reportedly, Kathleen Kennedy also had creative differences with Lindelof in his Star Wars movie recently, and a lot of that had to do with him walking off of the actual script. So there's been a lot of things going on with that film, but I digress. The thing about John and Dave here is that they want to, for starters, officially want to reinstate everything related to Gina Carano's deleted scenes from Season 2 as a prelude, or as a, beginning or an opener to bringing her back in the real sense where Gina's actually on set playing the character again. And you know what? I think that, yes, some fans may like this, some fans may not like this. I can see where John and Dave may be coming from, because they want to use that footage as a way to test the waters, to see how the fans react, and to see whether or not they're able to make things right on either, let's say, for example, they drag it into the reformed version of Mando Season 2. We already know that there's a special edition in the works that's going to involve a lot of deleted scenes in there, so it's most likely going to be that project that they're working towards, because we have heard that Gina Carano's old scenes are going to be thrown in there. So it could be that. They could also use some of the extra footage to throw into a second season of the Book of Boba Fett, which apparently Jon Favreau has been working on, by the way, and trying to drastically improve it than Season 1. So anyways, that brings us to the next big thing here about what's been going on with, of course, Gina Carano. Now, Disney's board members and the executives are now all for Gina to come back. It's really all a matter of how they're going to market this, how they're going to lay it out carefully to the point where they don't create a lot of controversy or more fan division. And it's not just about that. It's also about Gina actually giving them the okay that she even would want to come back. So there's a lot of that in the mix that really leads up to where this is all really going to go. So anyways, on to the next thing here. We know that everything related to Gina Carano has been a controversial subject, and it's not something that Disney wants to do wrongly. Anyways, on to the next thing, alright? He goes on to elaborate. I am eternally grateful, Dave Filoni says, to have these opportunities, and we want to keep all our characters together. We don't tend to grab on to the negativity or the conflicts and problems that have happened on set, but we rather find ways to resolve them. And so we would love to use the footage as an opening for Cara's return, and how we can make sure that would actually work in another separate project that we are working on now too. Now, apart from that, we already know that everything related to Gina Carano has been a very tough subject, right? We know that things haven't really been the best when it comes to Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni trying to really kind of convince Kathleen Kennedy on certain subjects and stuff around those lines. It's been a very rough road. Now, given that it is already the end of March, it's pretty crazy how fast time just flies by. We already have Mando Season 3 out, which, some fans love it, some fans hate it, some fans aren't really all that impressed with the story in some episodes here and there. But I think that Episode 4 was pretty solid. I think that Chapter 20 really kind of laid down the groundwork for Grogu's background and his backstory, stuff like that. We still don't know the full story just yet, but they are working and building toward more Order 66 flashbacks. Anyways, I think that what they have to do here is that they have to really just kind of lay out their plan very carefully, because they know that there's a lot of fans out there that do not like Gina Carano. And listen, guys, hey, that's perfectly fine. If you don't like Gina, and if you like Gina, that's your opinion, everyone's entitled to it. I'm not here to say, you can't like this and you can only like that. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, and so that's why it's going to be a very tough call on Jon and Dave's part on how they are going to establish the revival of Gina's deleted scenes from Season 2 that were put to the wayside all because of Kathleen Kennedy and her creative differences. We know that there was at least one scene where Gina Carano's Cara Dune is actually talking with Luke Skywalker briefly about Leia in that very scene where he enters to grab Grogu. So there's a lot of things that were left out, and that's gearing up toward the special edition of Mando Season 2, which they want to get out by next year sometime. So just keep in mind about that, is that they do want to make sure that they can just keep doing better. They're really trying hard. I know that Jon and Dave were on a very tight, schedule with Mando Season 3 because they had to rewrite the whole script, take Gina Carano out of there, and it really just kind of ripped apart the story a lot. So anyways, guys, fill me in below in the comments what you all have to say about this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.